Great. So please, if you're in, sit down. Please give all of your attention to these lovely people. Give them your respect, all right? Please, I know we're in this era of phones. Keep your phone use to a minimum. I know that means you have to actually sit it down, put it in a place. Maybe you might need to flip it over, put something over it. I get it, there's like an addiction for the phone. So, without further ado, I want to introduce one of our moderators. I consider this person to be family. We always talk to I call him a lot. I call Abdiel a lot of things, and he's like family to me, right? So I have a lot of love for this individual, not just because of the bond that we have and the dance adventures that we've already been on, but we met each other, and he's become such a powerhouse of influence for history, for the study of the dance, for the impact of the dance, and the way the community now embraces him. And he deserves all the praise. If you haven't seen him on the dance floor, if you haven't had a chance to work with him, everything he touches just flourishes. I'm in full support of what Abdiel does. So please, please give them your full attention. And without further ado, Abdiel, take us.
So this will not be about me. This will be about these lovely legends right here. And we have Louie Orlando joining us. Hampton. Brizzi. Nunziella. So I guess I'm just going to pass this around when we come to. So we're going to really focus on 4 topics today. We'll start with a little introduction, and then we'll go into where they first started, hustle, how they discovered it. We'll go into social dance. Yes. Oh. Thank you. And then we'll get into about the performance elements and the competitive aspects, and then we'll end with education, and then we'll open it up to all of y'all for those who have questions. Okay? So how about let's just go around and let's start with where you're from, and let's just start there. Where are you from?
Hi everybody, it's so good to see you. I am from New York City, and I moved out to Los Angeles in 1986. I thought I'd be here for a year, and I wound up staying. But I love New York, and I love the energy of New York, and this dance propelled my career, and I did many things after, but I still do this dance over, it's about 48 odd years now. But I know I stopped at 40. I love it, I still love it, and I dance it every day. And I started in the mid-70s. I was not old enough to go to a nightclub, so my sister would come home from clubs and she would teach me some steps. Also, my mother was a dance teacher, and my first dance was mambo. I danced mambo on tube. And even though I was underage, she would take me to the Corso in New York City, which was quite unbelievable. There was Latin bands, and she would only let me dance with the most professional dancers that danced on the tube. So that was important. But then when I learned this dance, that was it. This was my love, my passion, and I still do it, and I still feel the same way about it.
Hi everyone, it's really great to be back at the LA Hustle Congress this year. Wonderful to see all of you. I'm Louie Brizzi. I'm from New York.
Hi everyone, I am just totally thrilled how many people we have and where you're all from. This is like exciting stuff. And being the MC of this event, I get to see everything. I get to see you dance, I get to see the smiles. I think it's wonderful. But I started off with tap jazz and ballet. When a little girl doing all that stuff, but the dancing and Fred Astaire and that, all that, you know, I'm part of that era, but I'm originally from New York. Born and raised in New York, yes, and I started going out into the clubs before I was of age. But that was something that I think we all did, and we couldn't help ourselves. So, but once you get in to the clubs and you're watching all of these people dance at a very young age, and you're like, you're just puppy eyes, and I want to do that, and you know, yeah, it's like wonderful stuff. My favorite places was, of course, the Ipanema and Roseland. Those were my favorite. But I was teaching at Fred Astaire's. And what else did I have to say? Anything else? Okay, I'm moving on.
Go, Louie! Yeah. Woo!
I'm from New Jersey. Jersey. 17 Drive, which was 1972, and as soon as I got that car, I was out. I went to places, and I don't even know what. I heard about dancing and stuff like that. When I went out at that time, there wasn't that many clubs. It was basically more of a black Latin crowds. There was no really... Yeah, other than Latino here and whatever, there was not much. There just wasn't. When I saw this dance, it started like a two-step, going to a three-step, and I just took a liking to it. It just drew my attention after that. I wanted it, I desired it. It just...
It was a drug.
It became a drug.
Where's my fix?
That's right. It became a drug, and here it is 51 years later. And I'm still at it. This is a...
So now next question, and you, some of you already alluded to it. When did you first discover hustle? And where do you remember social dancing it? And if you can describe more about that.
I first started dancing probably about 1974, and I have to say that there was no internet, there was no cell phones, there was no social media, but we knew exactly where to go on a given night. The energy, I mean, the 70s was such a fascinating time. There was energy like you would not believe. New York was gritty and dirty, but the excitement and the nightclub scene was off the hook. We would go, every night there would be a different place to go. We'd go to the Ice Palace on the Monday night. There was a Lexus dance studio. There was even some dance studios in New York, in Brooklyn. Darien Dance Studio, Phillips Dance Studio. When we weren't quite old enough to get to the city, we'd go to Brooklyn and go to these dance studios. I have to say that the Ice Palace was one of my favorite places to go. They'd have a tea dance, and I have to say that the gay community was a large part of the hustle community, and they were amazing to watch. They'd get into these circles and just be unbelievable and uninhibited and do the most creative stuff I've ever seen in my life. And that excited us, and it made you feel powerful when you got on the dance floor. If you got into a circle at the Ice Palace, you couldn't get out. The people would just keep cutting in, and you would see how long you could last in that circle. It was quite an amazing moment in time, I have to say. But 74, I think. And then in 1978, I competed for the first time, and I won the Harvest Moonball. Okay, well, not, should I move on? Okay. I saw it.
I started, hustle was very popular in the 1970s. That was the dance of our culture. And my parents met on the dance floor, and so I was raised in a family of social dancing. American Songbook, and we'd be doing cha-chas and foxtrots and swings in the living room, but hustle was the dance. And there was a dance studio that was hiring. It was 1978. I was only 10 years old, and I'm kidding. No, I went to the dance studio, and I said, I want to learn the hustle. And they said, well, you have to learn all the dances. And I was like, great, I really want to learn all the dances. So while I was learning the hustle, I was also being trained to be a professional ballroom dancer, and that is my background, to do both. I became a teacher, and we'd go dance every night. We'd finish training, and just like Lisa said, it was Monday, it was either feathers or equus, and Tuesday was Ipanema or the lemon tree. And even though I was from Long Island, we would go to Queens, we would go to the city a lot. And what I noticed is there were different cultures in the different boroughs of New York. And we'd go to all of them. And I agree, I don't know how we knew where to go. There was no internet, I don't know how we knew, but we'd go. And we'd stay out all night, and when that club ended, we'd go to the after hours place, and you'd come out and be light out. And was that Crystal that asked the question about how do we get the club scene back? I thought that was a great question because, a lot of it had to do with the culture of the time. The hustle was a time when it was coming together of all black, white, gay, straight. Everybody was coming together. It broke all the boundaries, and we were all together in one club. And so we were going to the gay bars. I agree again with Lisa, they were like the best clubs, the best music, the best DJs. And I don't know how you can recreate something that'll go back to a culture that's different than your own. I mean, it had to do with society and what had just happened. And it was a very free time. We didn't have AIDS, we didn't have terrorism. These were words we didn't really use in our vocabulary. So for us, it was a party. Life was just a big party. And I'm sorry you don't get to experience that. It was really a lot of fun. How can you create it now? I don't know, find out, what's, true in our culture and make it your own, because you can't go back and create that. The other thing about that is we had contests in those days in the clubs. We had a lot of people like Lisa and Nellie and Kenny and doing all these high-flying lifts. We don't have a lot of that anymore. We have some couples. But that was a dynamic that I find is missing nowadays. And I think it's sad. I would love to see more of you young people bring some of that back. It was so exciting to go to a club and which, couple was going to take home the trophy or the prize. So if you could create some of that, that would bring back some more excitement. But find your own culture, because that was just a period of time, a capsule of time that is, it's never going to be exactly the same. But create something like that if you can.
Nice.
Yeah, I started going on in 1973. I was very young. I wasn't supposed to be there. But Lisa had mentioned the Ice Palace, so every Sunday I would go there for the tea dance. Every Sunday. I didn't care. I made my way in. However, as I grew and as the dance grew and changed from week to week to week to week, from the 6 counts to the tap step and the walk, walk, walk and the kakamimi, kakamimi, we finally got down to the 3 counts. And I started teaching at Fred Astaire's in 78. And from there, I think I moved to California in 81. And when I got to California here, I go out dancing, and they were like, who the hell are you? They had no clue what my hustle was about. I chose to be more Latin in my hustle with a little bit of international Latin styling with my legs. And that was my choice. But I met a girl named Rosemary, who had also won the Harvard Smooth Ball one year. And I watched her dance at Ipanema, and I was blown away. Just blown away. I kidnapped her. I did. I kidnapped her. I made my partner dance with her so I could break everything down. And she made my very first costume. But all of that, I moved out here, and I was going out to all different places. But the main place that I was going to every year was called the U.S. Open Swing Dance Championships. And when I came across that and went there from 88 until 2020, I learned something from the West Coast Swing. I learned how they put on an event, how they're growing it. And so because of that, I decided I want to do an event for Hustle. And it was called Hustle USA. It was the very first Hustle event. And my purpose in that was to make the dance grow, get popular, get more out there, so on and so forth. And because of that, let's go America. World Dance Hustle. Now there's the International Latin Festival. There's Swasilicious. There's all the New York Congress and the New Jersey Congress. And that's my wish has come true. Thank you.
Actually, to these three ladies here, has pretty much said it all as far as going out. I was in those same places. But I have to feel blessed because I was a person that started on the street. I never really had any formal dance training. Musicality came easy for me. I was able to see something and emulate it right away. And my style of dancing more free form, a little play, a little hesitation, syncopations and stuff like that. I was also blessed with partners that were better trained than what I was at the time. With ballroom trained like my partner, who's ballet trained, ballroom trained. I learned a lot from her. My very first partner was Maria Torres. Very first partner, and it was definitely an interesting run. It's like with anything else, you change partners, you learn a little bit more, you get a little bit better at the influence, but it motivated me, and I was basically a street dancer. But that dance and that group just motivated me to get out there. As far as the club scene, it was definitely, I'll never be like that again.
Don't say that.
And also, there was no social media or anything like that, but I went out and talked to people. I asked people, I said, hey, where are you from? What's going on? I would go to a place and just talk to them and say, do you know this place? You heard of this place? One word after, I found out every place where to go. How to drive to them, how to get to them. There was no GPS or anything like that.
It was all word of mouth.
Nothing.
Yes.
It was all word of mouth. And I found my way. I went out 5 nights a week. I drove an hour, go to the city, come back 3 or 4 in the morning, and get up for work the next day. 5 nights a week I did this. And I found my way.
So some of you already alluded to it about contests and competitions and congresses where you saw performances and people competing. So let's go into that topic. So what were some memorable performances, contests, competitions that you may have participated in, and how was that experience like working with your respective partners?
Oh my goodness, I had, I think, 5 partners. And like I said, I won the Harvest Moon Ball in 1978. And from there, I went on tour with the Saturday Night Fever touring show, which is where I met my business partner that I'm now business partners with, but I know him over 40 years, Frank Reyes. He's right there. And from there, we came back and, what did I do? I won the USBCs, United States Ballroom Championships, which was very interesting because they put a category in, it was called theater arts, because we were all doing a lot of crazy lifts, if I should say. It was who could be better, who could do the most exciting, the most dangerous, but we were all coming up with these creative choreographies, and then we'd go and compete against each other. And it's funny because the ballroom competitions, the ballroom dancers really poo-pooed us. They felt like we were a street dance and they really did not respect the hustle. But yet, they were all there watching us because we were doing things that nobody else was doing. Yes, and we were creating the competition was fierce, and when you got on that floor, you felt very powerful. For me, as a quiet, shy young woman, when I got on that floor, I felt my power. And that's what I try to teach moving forward these days.
Oh boy, if you know me, I'm not really good at telling short stories. Try and behave. So I was, as I said earlier, a professional ballroom dancer, and I was doing the whole circuit, the whole gamut of competition, managing studios. Public Chorus was one of them, and I had been on cruise ships, and I came off of a cruise ship, and I was looking for a dance partner. So a friend said, well, there's someone looking for a salsa partner. I said, that's good, I just want to dance. And he said, how would you like to run a hustle party? And I said, why would I want to do that? The hustle is dead. And this was right before 9/11, or right around 9/11. And then I went to the Miami event, and you're talking about life-changing performances. It wasn't so much the performance itself, but I went to this event and I saw Rob Finocchio dancing with Tiffany Brown to a James Bond song in a competition. And I went, they're doing hustle to different music than disco? That's exciting. And I went back and I called the same gentleman and I said, let's do it. It was a new millennium, it was 2000. I said, let's call it Millennium Hustle, Classic and New Hustle. And I started my dance program. So that performance kind of changed my whole life. Because here I am today, 21 years later, running hustle events and hustle parties. And people know me as the hustle person when I was like ballroom person. So that was going great in hustle parties. And I remember someone said, why are you calling this classic and new hustle when you're only playing old music? So I said, that's a good question. I can't get the DJs to play new music. They only want to play classic music. So that's been a struggle, and I'm very excited that 21 years later, we're getting a whole new influx of music that we dance hustle to. For me, I agree with T-Boy. You know, I don't want to throw out the baby with the bathwater with the music. I love classics, but I also love contemporary music, modern music that, you know, new young people are writing these days, something born in this millennium, you know, in this century. So the parties ran into me meeting David Melendez. He was running the New York Hustle, the New York Salsa Congress. He said, I had an epiphany, I want to do an event with you. And he said, I want to do a hustle event. And he was known all over the world for congressos. So I said, that's a lot of work. I must be out of my mind. But it's David Melendez. So I said, yes. And I said, let's call it the New York Hustle Congress. He said, no. I said, you're doing this also at the New York Hustle Congress. So that event was born with the Salsa Congress, and it's been 12 New York Hustle Congresses since then. And then this year I started the New Jersey Hustle Congress. So it all started that one event, at Billy's event, watching that one performance, changed my mind, and here I am.
My thing is that I'm learning hustle and going where I'm seeing people that I remember most. Is Perico, Eddie Vega, Billy Fajardo, Sandra, Beth, Louie, and now of course, Paul Vaquero. Seeing them perform, especially on Star Search with Eddie and Lisa. Oh my God, it was like, I'm gonna go watch my show. But it was exciting to see difference. And one of the things that I always said at my event when I had Hustle USA, I said, I'm not trying to promote the 70s. That's not what I'm trying to promote. I'm trying to promote a dance that I want to grow with old music and new music. And everybody's going to have their own interpretations on how to choreograph and hit the music, hit that kick, make sure you hit that line, things like that. That comes from tap dance and ballet and all the ballroom dances as well. And they tell you to do these things. Well, those were being done by Artie Phillips, Eddie Vega, Billy Fajardo, Lisa, Perico. See, I can't call you your regular name, Perico. I have to call you Perico because that's the way I know you. And I went to Venezuela, Caracas with Perico, and we had competed, and it was unbelievable. But the dancing and the shows and all the people who competed, it was wonderful. It was absolutely stunning, and I was so happy to bring that, a venue that we can showcase it. So that was my thing. Is there anything else I have to say? Can I pass it on? Thank you for listening.
For me, pretty much they said everything. I was on a different drive. I was going, like Lisa said, it was a thrill. When you got out there and did that competition, that contest, I mean, I started realizing at the time I was winning. I won a custom van, I won trips, I was going here and there in the park. I said, oh my God, I'm making money from this. And I didn't think that was going to happen. But, you know, that was kind of, like I said, I'm more from the streets, so I did all those street things that were going to go on. All those, if I knew there was a contest there, I wanted to be there. It was that drive, it was that adrenaline that kept me going, that drug. I just wanted to be there, I wanted to do it. And it does bring you out of your shell. It definitely takes somebody, I was shy at the time myself, but it brought me out in a lot of ways. Anyway, thank you. Yes, me and her have been dancing now, I would say,
5 years.
No,
45 years?
I'd say probably 25 years.
Together, you mean?
Well, no.
Yeah, 25 years.
Yeah, we've
Good.
been actually hanging out maybe since 79.
Tell him, Beth. Tell him. Correct.
But really dancing, I'd say probably about 25 years.
Professionally, 25 years.
Yeah.
Listen, time goes by when you're having fun.
Thank you so much. Okay, so we're going to move on to our last question, and then we're going to open it up for the audience to ask questions. So, with all your experience that you've shared around social dancing and competitions, performance, and how do you feel about education? What are some of your own teaching style and philosophy? And how do you feel the dance can be moved forward with the future generations through education?
So this dance was not learned in a studio. We learned it at home, and then we brought it to the clubs, and it evolved. We didn't have mentors at that moment in time. We were creating on our own. We were getting into dance studios, rehearsal studios, and creating and trying to be as competitive as we could be, because competition was very fierce at that time. We just loved this dance, and the energy and the passion of it drove us. And the nightclub scene was amazing, so it drove us. I don't think there's been a time like that again. But I see that this community is growing so amazingly, and the younger generation is jumping in and doing incredibly well and so involved and being so creative. What I like to do when I teach is to teach the things that I was making mistakes. The mistakes that I saw myself making when I'd see videotape of myself. I would say, oh, I need to fix that. I need to keep my shoulders down. I need to extend my arm more. I need to use my hip action more. I need to find my power on that dance floor. So it was about spotting the turns and being connected and feeling that opposition to progress. All of those things I try to teach now because I want people to feel the feeling that we created back in the day. The power, the balance, the strength, the energy, and the passion that we put into this dance. It was so very important to us. Nothing was more important than this dance at that moment in time. So my philosophy is to create, to have intention when you're dancing. I don't get on the floor at any time and just hope for the best. What I do is I try to put the intention in every step that I take. I'm feeling my body, I'm feeling the floor, I'm connecting with my partner, because you're not dancing alone. You're dancing in a partnership. right? And you want to feel that power. You want to feel that energy between each other. You're creating as you're dancing. And so I like to stay in the moment, and I like to teach that, to stay out of your head when you're actually dancing, to stay in your body, to stay connected. And when your shoulders are back and you're leading with the chest open, and no matter how creative you want to get, to start in that position, to start feeling your body. Because as we get older, we lose that feeling. We get less connected. But in dance, we need to stay connected to keep your power, right? I want to find my power when I'm on that dance floor. And so that's what I try to teach. Feeling, power, balance, and strength. And being a good individual dancer so that when you're in a partnership, you're a great partner, right? Because you're dancing together, you're not dancing alone. So therefore, if you're being very creative, I say stay in the structure of the dance. Like Abdiel, if you see Abdiel dance, who is amazing, you see that when he does something creative, he's right back on step. He doesn't miss a step. And that's the beauty of being creative these days. And I love it. I think that we're evolving, and I think the younger generation is doing an amazing job. But I don't want you to lose that power, that the balance, the strength, the movement, that progression that we had back in the day, the extension. So we felt each other in that opposition, the opposing, the back rock when you're doing your and one, right? You're opposing each other so that you can progress and move. And so I try to always push that feeling. It's about a feeling. Stay out of your heads, stay in your bodies.
Yeah.
Figure out how to do better with this black fire. I've been teaching hustle dancing since 1978. Anyway, I love teaching all dances. I love teaching hustle. But I run events and I run dance parties weekly in New York City. And it's a lot of work, and you can just wear so many hats. So people say, why don't you teach more? And I'm like, okay, let me put that in the schedule. Regarding teaching, because I come from a ballroom world and I adore the West Coast swing, which is a very creative style of dancing. You're given a lot of opportunity to play and a lot of musicality. And that's why I'm exciting with the new gen dancers. I don't really need you to dance so much the way we dance. I want you to dance the way you dance. Take your street background and bring it into the dance, and let's keep moving forward. I've always felt that I left this out in my journey when I came and I called it Millennium Classic and New Hustle. I was obsessed with younger people learning hustle. I knew that it was a dance that was created by young people and that it needed to be continued by young people. And it's got to be your dance because we're getting hip replacements. You've got to keep it going. And for me, it's just a dream come true. And I sat with Jackson one day and I showed him some videos of me in 2005. Here?
Put it under your chin.
Under my chin.
Yeah.
Under my chin. How's that?
Great.
Better.
I showed him a video in 2005 of the Discovery Channel. It's better. Coming to my party. And then they were interviewing me and I said, I want this dance to go on to the next generation, the new dancers, the young people. And then a couple of years ago, the Tribeca Film Festival came to me about a film about hustle, our generation, the OGs. And I said, I want this to be about the new G's. I want it to live on, and it's not going to happen to us. We're getting tired. We're here. I mean, we're having a great time this weekend. But you've got to keep it going. And when I wound up judging a lot more than I thought I was going to this weekend, and a lot of the younger dancers came to me and said, what do you think? How can I improve? And I said, well, you're missing some of that competitive spirit that we had, where we were a little more aggressive, a little more assertive, and we wore like sexy or sparkly costumes. But if that's not what feels right to you, if that doesn't express you, don't do it. Just be the best you can be. Dance it that way. dance your style, and just keep going in that direction. And that's what I think should happen. Don't try to be us, be you. Make it fresh.
She's so right on target. However, there are a few things that I would like to see some of the street dancers learn is about their posture on the dance floor. This doesn't look pretty. This looks sexy. The difference is you have more power. That's what I need you to go. That's what Lisa's talking about. Standing up straight, getting those shoulders down, fill up your lungs, whatever, to get that, those puppies, my twins showing, you know. But I have no shame. No, but that's my only problem that I have seen this whole weekend. Is that you need to be proud. This is not being proud. This is being proud. Yes? And you also look more confident, you look sexy, you look like you know what you're doing. Yes? So in my teaching, I prefer to have a lot of that. But the leaders are the masters on the dance floor. We ladies are the creative part. We're the pretty. We're the picture. You are the frame as the leaders. And it's important that you have that connection with your partner. And it shouldn't be muscle hustle. It just should be just hustle. Yes, so my teaching is that I prefer to teach a little bit more international Latin in my styling and leg work. It's very sexy for the follower. As far as the leaders are concerned, stop looking at your partner all the time. When I have her in closed position, I'm going to look where I'm going to send her because you have to protect that. You have to protect her on that floor. So when you have her in closed, you should be looking to your left. Am I going to send her out? Oh, somebody's there. I better do a crossbody lead. I don't want to send her and get, black eyes. I mean, it has happened. So that is your job on the dance floor, leaders, and I do deal with that in my classes and in my privates. But I can't think of anything else off the top of my head. But that's all I can think about. Okay, I love you guys. Here's Louie.
The last one here. Pretty much my group is saying, hey, listen, it's true. Your posture, your frame, the way you guide your person has a lot to do with this dance. And connection is a very big thing that's very important to me. The way you hold yourself, and you're absolutely right with people like this, and bringing up and pulling up and holding. And, us as the leaders, we're the driver of the car. We gotta, make that girl look very well on that dance floor, so we gotta execute it. And if we're not out here showing them off right and holding ourselves correct, it's gonna show in that dance. It's very, very important. That's it.
Thank you so much for sharing all your knowledge and insight with all of us and experience. So we're now going to open it up to the audience for questions that you may have for these lovely individuals. So, question. Yes. I will come over.
So, I heard a couple of you not really mention how many years you've been dancing, but a lot of years. And I'm thinking about this, especially with Louie in mind, because I see him dance multiple times a week, every week. I always see him on the floor still dancing. So I'm curious, for those who are, how many years are you growing and learning and changing your style and getting to you? And then when do you just find you and you're just rolling? Or are you still growing? Are you still stretching what your style is?
Give it to Louie, baby.
One thing about this dance I gotta say, the music is what moves me. I gotta have that right song, that right if it's not the right song, it doesn't really move me. That groove, that whole thing, it keeps my drive. It just makes me, I got creative through the dance, doing Debra Hampton's first Hustle USA. It's the first thing in 1995 that, once I did that, and we actually came in third at that time. But we were the first ones to start doing a syncopation style. They play with the music. And after we started that, I was getting, me and Beth were getting calls from all over the place. Texas, California, stuff was going up in Jersey, all these different places, Florida. They loved the way what we were executing at that time. We did something with a little more flavor. Same dance, still holding ourselves, but I was playing more with the music and syncopating. And that musicality with that music, and that's what made us grow and became who we are today. Made us different at that time, you know. Of course, now we're caught on, and a lot of other people are now doing their own syncopations and stuff like that too. But you still got to find the music. It's not just doing it without any kind of rhythm. You have to know how to go out of that rhythm and back into it again. Still holding that musicality.
To answer your question, Sarah, you never stop learning. You never stop changing. You always keep creating. I never, ever get stopped. I'm always trying to figure out what's better, what feels better. If I see something that excites me, I want to know it, you know? So it's like anything in life, you keep learning. Once you stop learning, you know, you don't grow. I always want to keep growing, and I want everyone to grow around me, so I'm always sharing those pearls of wisdom or something exciting that's new, and I feel it needs to be out there. So keep learning, keep expanding, learn from different people, take what you need and leave the rest. When you're taking classes, there's always something. That's why I try to articulate things in a different way, in many ways. This way, sometimes it connects. Sometimes different verbiage connects with different people. So I am always trying to figure out what it is that people, when I see that light bulb go off in their heads when I'm teaching, or for myself when I see something, oh, that's it, I love that. How can I need to learn that, I need to know it. So you never stop learning. I think it's imperative that we keep growing, and the only way is to keep learning and stay open, right?
Absolutely.
I think, just to go backwards about the competition style, there are different styles of dancing. And when you dance in a competition, you're competing with other people on the floor. You have your own standard, but you also have to place above the other people. So the competitive style is one thing. Socially, I think it also depends on where you're at. When I started really getting into West Coast swing, and I realized I had the freedom to be a lot more playful and hustle. It was always, back in the day, it was and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. And there was a 4-count time, and there was a 5-count, alternate timings, but we didn't play as much as we do now. I think that's changed through the years. And I feel like my good friend Sal Rentas, he's like the original new style hustle dancer, right?
Yeah.
Sal and I have been dancing new style hustle since 1980, you know, at the original dance floor on Monday night. We just dance around the poles, and we'd be like really creative. And you know, there were street dancers and there were the contest dancers. So I feel now, and also especially because of the newer generation, we're dancing more and more creatively. We're getting out of that box, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3. And we're taking extra time on a syncopation, on a New York walk. And I feel like for me, my dancing's changed a lot, and maybe people they think like, oh, she's not banging it out. But I have so much fun doing a creative style hustle. So it really, you know, on a Monday night, at one of, you know, my parties where, you know, someone plays something really obscure, and you dance with Sal, and you're just dancing like a nut. That's so much fun. I love that. I mean, I just love that freedom. And we didn't have that. I don't know, am I crazy? Did we have that freedom? Years ago, we were pretty much, and 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5, 6. But I feel like nowadays it's changed and it's growing, and I'm grateful to all the younger people that are adding more influence. Because when I danced with Tico last night, it's like dancing with Sal. So everybody, you know, not exactly, of course, but you're both amazing. But I feel like there is a change, and I feel like we've gotten more permission to play outside of the box and play with the rhythms. And to me, that's like the most exciting thing that's happened in hustle in 5 decades.
Trying to answer the question, Sarah, in creating on the dance floor, off the fly, go for it. If it's a mistake, it's a mistake, who cares? It's okay. Just keep going until you figure it out how you're going to create that specific thing that you wanted to do within the realms of the hustle. I like, when putting a routine together, I like choreographing it to the music. So if there is a crash, or there is a big cymbal sound, or whatever, I mean, I want to make sure I'm going to hit it while I'm choreographing. But this is for choreography. But when you're out on the dance floor and just enjoying yourself, go for it. Just go for it and enjoy. Make mistakes, it's okay. We all have. So I sure hope I see more of you out there making all the mistakes you want, but enjoying yourselves. And that's the most important. Enjoy yourself. Yes?
Yes.
You want to say anything else?
Does anyone else have a question?
Really quick short one. What do you find so special or different in hustle in relation to all the other partner dances that you may do? What makes you stick around for hustle?
The question was what?
What makes hustle so special compared to other partner dances that you do?
Oh, yes, okay. I'm glad you said that. That's a good question. The other partnership dances, I mean, are we talking about West Coast Swing? Are we talking about ballroom? Are we talking about Latin? You know, each one has its own story. And you have to own that story and be part of that story. Hustle is exciting. You can't stop it. It gets into your blood. You want to hit that line. You want to move on the floor. You want to shake it up and work it out. And then, you know, ballroom is very strict. You need to do this. You need to do that. These are the rules, and that's what you have to follow. When hustle first was created, it was created by everybody who's on the streets. There was no ballroom. And when the ballroom did finally bring in the hustle, it was really archaic. It was really N1. And that N1 was N1. It used to drive me crazy, and I hated it. But once I got to see the real deal, that was the end for me. I mean, I was hooked. But it's exciting. It's different from the ballroom, and it's different from I like Latin hustle, I do. I mean, I prefer to have some kind of a Latin background in the music that it excites me. But, so that's how I feel. You know, you have an answer? Yeah,
Once I started, because a lot of times we got hired to teach at West Coast Swing, do some hustle, and listen to different music.
Louie.
Oh, I'm sorry. What he said, I like his question because when me and Becky started teaching a lot too, we started going to West Coast Swing. There were hiring us there, they liked our style, and they were showing how we are creative like they are at West Coast. What I got out of that, we started dancing hustle to different music, not just I dance now to West Coast Swing music I can hustle to. Some blues I can hustle to.
Yeah.
R&B, we have done this back in '97. We danced to LL Cool J, phenomenon.
Yeah, it's phenomenal.
They looked at us. I was also at your event. They looked at us as we're dancing to that song and we're playing with the music, and I could see their faces. And I'm going, uh-oh.
Yeah, no, I'm like this.
But we introduced that back then.
That's right.
LL Cool J. I wanted to dance different music, hip hop, some street, Aretha Franklin, music with that kind of beat. So I could take a 60s songs and dance to it. I could do the 70s and 80s and 90s, blues, jazz. If the beat is right, we can work that song and hustle. That's what I like about this dance that we can do. It's really more,
Versatile.
it's different. Yeah, there's more thing. I can dance this song with more music that's out there than any other dance that I see that's out there.
Yes.
There's a monster down here. That's a great question. It should be an easy answer. Because everything you just said could also be applied to West Coast swing. But what makes hustle? You know, you can dance to different styles of music. West Coast swing, like you said, rhythm and blues. But hustle is just fierce. I mean, it's just dynamic. And I wish I could be more articulate. But it's like, if I could just put words like sexy, fierce, can be powerful, could be laid back. You know, could be, it's like circular, it just feels good. It can be so many things, and with every partner, it feels different. But you could really say that with also West Coast, but something about hustle has a dynamic attraction to it. I don't have to tell you, you're here because you love it. So I guess you agree, right? It has all of that. It's so much, and it's just very dynamic and very expressive. And you feel on top of the world when you do the hustle, don't you?
Yes.
Right? You do it well. You can only hope for that.
I think it had a lot to do with that moment in time. It was such an exciting moment in New York. The music, the dance, it captured you and it didn't let go. It was so powerful, and like I said, the ballroom, was always happening. I did all those other dances, and I did mambo, like I said, and the Latin dances. But this dance, it just captured us. It was a challenge. Every time you got out on that dance floor, you were creating. You were powerful. I think it was that moment in time, this specific dance in New York City at that moment where it was in the zeitgeist, and it was all exciting, all encompassing, and you fell in love with it, and that's it. You were hooked.
So we have time for one more question. Is there anyone that has any questions? Yes. Oh.
I think, what do you think, it had a peak, right? Hustle had a peak. What do you think dissipated the peak? It went through a lull, and that sort of like people started coming to my studio, the clubs kind of closed down. Maybe it was AIDS or whatever. Or the mafia got wiped out and they didn't close the clubs. But what do you think actually killed the hustle? Part of the freestyle, I have my opinion. I want your answers.
I am not a historian. I'm not really good with dates. People say, what year was that? And I never know. But I do remember, I think it had a little bit to do with the music industry. There was a stadium, who knows where the rock and roll industry wanted to kill disco. They wanted to promote rock and roll. So they said, bring all of your disco albums to this football stadium, and we're going to set them on fire.
That was Lombardo.
That happened also with Lombardo. They killed Lombardo too. Am I the only one here? Disco sucks. Don't you remember that? Someone else here.
Yankee Stadium.
Yankee Stadium. Bring your disco albums. They set them on fire, and the same disco sucks came about. And I think it had to do with business. Some people say it had to do with Saturday Night not live. That's a great show. Still is. Saturday Night Fever became sort of like homogenized, or it actually was such a great movie, and it made people want to learn. And there wasn't room to dance on the dance floor anymore. When I learned hustle, I remember seeing, you couldn't get on the dance floor if you weren't good. You had to watch and say, wow, look at them, they're amazing. I'm gonna go back and practice. We'd like to practice with holes and practice the steps until you were good enough to get on the dance floor. It wasn't everyone's dance. It was superior. You know, you had to achieve it. And then Saturday Night Fever came, and it became very popular, and everybody wanted to do disco, and they went on the clubs, and there wasn't any more room to dance. I remember all of a sudden, we were like, where do we go dancing? The floors are packed. And that's how that little circle came about. The shark thing. That's where we started cutting in. So the lucky girl, was usually a follower, but it's usually a female, would have everyone in the circle around her, and the guys would cut in. We'd make a wall. That all became what we do it now, even when we have room on the dance floor. But that became a thing where, because we did not have room, and we made a wall of hustle. And that lucky girl would get to dance, and guys would cut in and cut in. I think so, that might have been one of the reasons. I think the disco sucks, the music industry, which is about business, marketing, greed, whatever. And who else in the historians can contribute to that? But that's my recollection.
I have no clue. I have no clue why it died. I don't know why it died, but I moved to California and I tried to get it going on here. And that's what I did. So I did my part in trying to keep it alive, but I have no idea why. And the whole thing with the disco sucks. I remember that people said, oh, but disco sucks. And I said, yeah, well, you could just go back home. Just go back home, leave me alone. I love my hustle. Hustle is so inclusive. It's not exclusive. We like to include everybody. In my first year of Hustle USA, I created a division called the Bookends Division, which meant gays could dance. They have the choice. You could be a female, you could be a male. It didn't matter. And that's how that all started. And so we still do it at Disco America. We still have bookends at Disco America, and we also have the Philly Freeze at Disco America, which is hilarious. But the bookends division, that also opened up a whole nother way of getting more people to do it and come to different events and so on and so forth. But you know what? Why it died? I'd like to know why.
Paul knows why.
Paul, you want to?
You have to answer it.
You want to say?
We didn't answer it yet. Did I touch on it a little?
Yeah.
You did okay.
So, yeah.
I think all dances have a low. They go through their ups and downs. Yes, there was a thing with the rock and roll, and there was the fire and the disco sucks and all of that. Actually, that's in Frank's book, A Boy in a Mirror Ball, that he wrote on his life, and we'll be doing a film about it as well. So hopefully it will help to lift up this community all over the world once again. But with that said, I think that things start to get a little corny. The music was amazing back in the day, and then it got a little corny. And Saturday Night Fever was not really, it was exciting that it came out, and we went on tour actually together. That's where we met, and we went on tour together. But it was, that was a time where we didn't even relate to that film. It wasn't what we were doing. That was not us at all. But yet we were the touring show all over the world. But we were doing the dance that we did, not what we saw on that film. So therefore, with this new film coming out, A Boy in a Mirror Ball, which is based on his life, because he is a pioneer of this dance, it will tell the story of how Hustle saved his life, number one, and you will see the real, original New York style hustle in it for the first time.
Thank you so much, everyone. We are at time, so we're going to have to finish. I just want to say thank you so much. Personally, I have learned from all of you and have been such an inspiration. I was introduced to hustle through social dancing at Paul Pellicoro's dance board on 34th Street, that location, that time period. And just like watching everyone social dance, watching videos of you performing, competing really inspired me. So thank you for being present and showing up and always supporting the community. It's really, really, really valued. So maybe we can do a photo? A photo or something?
A photo! Come on, everybody!